In the vast valley of Elah, two armies face off, a silent prelude to war. Sunlight glints off the armor of the Israelite army, arrayed and ready. Across the valley, the Philistine forces stand firm, a dark mirror to their foes. A close view of the Israelite soldiers reveals faces etched with worry and fatigue. The looming conflict casts a shadow over the valley, heavy with unspoken fear. Under the harsh sun, the Philistine camp buzzes with activity. Tents and banners flutter in the wind. Goliath, a towering figure in shining armor, strides into view. His shadow looms over the camp. Each step of Goliath exudes immense power, the ground trembling beneath his weight. Fear and awe ripple through the Philistine ranks as they gaze upon their champion. Goliath's menacing presence dominates the scene, a symbol of Philistine might and aggression. Inside the Israelite tent, King Saul sits heavily on his throne, his face a canvas of deep anxiety. His royal tent is dimly lit, casting long shadows that amplify the sense of foreboding. Around him, advisors huddle, their hushed voices barely audible above the palpable tension. The air is thick with unspoken fears as they discuss strategies, each word heavy with desperation. A pervasive sense of hopelessness hangs in the air, threatening to suffocate the king and his court. Each advisor's face reflects the grim reality, a mirror to Saul's own mounting despair. Under the open sky of the valley of Elah, Goliath moves with purpose, his shadow stretching ominously across the parched earth. His massive figure dominates the horizon, a stark challenge to the Israelites. Goliath's voice erupts in a thunderous roar, a terrifying sound that shakes the valley and echoes off the distant hills. The sound bounces, demanding a champion brave enough to defy him. His challenge hangs heavy in the air, a tangible threat. Under the bright Bethlehem sun, young shepherd David watches over his father's flock, his sun-kissed cheeks glowing. The sheep graze peacefully, their woolly forms scattered across the lush green fields. David raises a simple, wooden flute to his lips, his nimble fingers dancing over the holes. A clear, lilting tune drifts through the air, filling the serene landscape with music. Sunlight drenches the field as young David stands guard, his flock peacefully grazing. A massive lion emerges, its menacing presence a stark threat to the tranquil scene. David expertly wields his sling, courage etched on his face as he prepares to defend his flock. The stone flies with deadly accuracy, striking the lion and disrupting its advance. Defeated, the lion retreats, leaving David standing tall, a symbol of bravery and skill. Inside David's humble home, a father's solemn expression fills the room. Jesse's gaze is fixed on David, a weight of responsibility etched on his face. The air is heavy with unspoken concerns, a father's worry palpable. Jesse's voice cuts through the silence, a direct order given with care. Take these provisions to your brothers at the battlefield, Jesse commands. The weight of the task settles on David, a mission to the front lines. David arrives at the valley of Elah, the vast landscape stretching before him under the bright, unforgiving sun. He surveys the Israelite camp, a stark contrast to the serene valley. The air is thick with unspoken dread, a palpable sense of impending doom weighing heavily. David observes the soldiers, their eyes wide with fear, reflecting the despair that grips their hearts. The weight of their fear becomes his burden as he steps into the heart of their despair. Under the vast sky of the valley of Elah, young David watches, his face hardening with dawning anger. Goliath's blasphemous words boom across the valley, each syllable a hammer blow against the stillness. The sound of taunts echoes in the valley. David clenches his young fists, the knuckles bone white against the sun-bronzed skin. His eyes ignite with righteous indignation, burning with unwavering resolve. A storm of emotion gathers within the boy, a tempest about to break. Under the scorching sun, the valley of Elah stretches wide, its golden hues reflecting the heat. A towering figure, Eliab, clad in soldier's armor, strides purposefully into view, his shadow falling long. His eyes narrow as he confronts David, the younger brother, his presence a stark contrast to the vast landscape. Eliab's voice booms across the valley, filled with suspicion and disdain as he questions David's motives. "What are you doing here, David?" Eliab challenges, his words cutting through the stillness of the day. A tense silence hangs in the air, the unspoken accusations swirling between the brothers like dust devils. Sunlight illuminates the valley of Elah, where dust motes dance in the air around David, a youth among hardened soldiers. David's voice cuts through the valley, declaring his intent with unwavering conviction. Soldiers exchange skeptical glances, amusement and disbelief warring on their faces. Laughter erupts from the ranks, echoing across the valley, yet David stands firm. His gaze is fixed on the distant, looming figure of Goliath, undeterred by the mocking laughter. Inside Saul's tent, sunlight illuminates the war room. David, a young shepherd, stands firm. King Saul eyes David with skepticism. Tension fills the tent. Sunlight streams into Saul's tent, revealing dust motes as David stands before Saul, his eyes reflecting youthful strength. David recounts his past. "I was keeping my father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came, I seized it by its hair, struck it and killed it." David's conviction deepens. "Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This Philistine will be like one of them." His voice resonates with faith and determination, defying fear and doubt. "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Inside the tent, Saul eyes David, a mix of doubt and curiosity etched on his face. David stands tall, his unwavering faith shining through his determined gaze. Saul's expression softens, touched by David's resolve to face the giant. Narration. Saul reluctantly agrees to let David fight Goliath, a decision that will change everything. Sunlight paints the interior of Saul's tent as Saul gestures towards a formidable suit of armor. David eyes the armor with caution, a silent assessment of its weight and purpose. Saul extends the offer, his voice filled with kingly authority. "Take my armor, David. May it protect you." David demurs respectfully, his words measured. "Thank you, Your Majesty, but I am not used to wearing it." A humble admission of unsuitability. "I would only be encumbered." David approaches a sun-drenched stream, its waters sparkling like a scattered treasure. He kneels, his weathered hands gently searching among the stones at the water's edge. Carefully, he selects 5 smooth stones, each fitting perfectly within his palm. His fingers trace the cool, worn surfaces of the stones, a silent connection forming. He opens his worn shepherd's bag, a repository of journeys and untold stories. The chosen stones find their place within the bag, nestled among memories and hopes. Under the vast sky of the valley of Elah, a figure emerges, small against the imposing landscape. David approaches, his staff a mere twig against the giant's shadow. With unwavering faith, he readies his sling, a simple weapon charged with destiny. The air crackles with anticipation as David prepares for the impossible battle. His eyes lock onto Goliath, a storm of courage brewing within him. Against all odds, a shepherd boy stands ready to face a giant. Goliath, a towering figure of immense size, surveys the youthful David with undisguised disdain, his shadow falling long across the valley. His booming voice shatters the stillness, each word laced with fury and mockery, echoing off the valley walls. "Am I a dog?" he roars, his voice a thunderous wave, "that you come at me with sticks?" The earth trembles slightly with each word, as the giant's fury fills the valley of Elah. Under the scorching sun, the valley of Elah stretches out, ancient and silent. David, the young shepherd, stands resolute, a figure of unwavering faith against the vast landscape. His gaze is firm, his spirit unyielding as he faces his towering foe. With conviction burning in his eyes, David declares, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." In the valley of Elah, Goliath's massive form charges, a tremor shaking the very ground. David stands firm, a solitary figure against the giant's overwhelming might. The Israelite soldiers watch, their faces etched with stunned disbelief and mounting fear. Goliath advances, his shadow looming large as destiny hangs in the balance. In the valley of Elah, David sprints toward Goliath, a small figure against the giant's shadow. He reaches into his pouch, his movements swift and precise, and retrieves a smooth stone. The stone is carefully placed in his sling, ready for the coming battle. With fierce resolve, he whirls the sling, the creaking leather a prelude to destiny. In the valley of Elah, the air crackles with anticipation as David prepares his sling. The stone hurtles through the air, a streak against the vast sky. Goliath, a giant of a man, stands defiant, unaware of the projectile aimed at him. The stone finds its mark, striking Goliath squarely in the forehead with sudden, brutal force. A look of shock and disbelief spreads across Goliath's face as he staggers. The giant collapses, the impact of the stone felling the seemingly invincible warrior. In the valley of Elah, Goliath falters, his massive frame suddenly unsteady. Disbelief floods his eyes as the giant begins to lose his balance. He crashes to the earth, a spectacle of sudden defeat. The ground trembles under the thunderous impact of his fall. David, breathing hard, grabs Goliath's sword from the crimson ground. Adrenaline surges as he raises the massive sword high. With a mighty swing, David severs Goliath's head. David lifts Goliath's head, a symbol of victory against all odds. A stunned silence falls over the Philistine army, says the narration. The invincible warrior is dead. Fear sweeps through the enemy ranks. The valley of Elah vibrates with raw energy as the Israelite army erupts in unified cheers. Fear gives way to jubilation, their faces alight with newfound hope and relief. David emerges, bathed in sunlight, a solitary figure against the vast landscape. He stands victorious, a beacon of courage that defies the shadow of doubt, a symbol of faith. His triumph resonates through the valley, echoing in the hearts of all.